I'm going to begin as if I was in your seat. And this is my belief when I'm in the audience listening to a speaker, is that when I'm giving you my time, I'm giving you a portion of my life that I will never get back. So please don't make me regret it. So my goal today is to give you a lot of information related to negotiations, give you some perspective on the approach of negotiations, but I can't give you a guarantee that you're going to win every negotiation. Is everybody okay with that?
He's extremely articulate, he's very dedicated, very persuasive, very much on track.
Great information today, absolutely, really good. Good entertainer.
Oh, I really love the personality part of it and the competitiveness of everything that he had. Very intriguing for me to understand. He was relatable.
Scott is amazing. I love the point that he made about collaboration, icing on the cake, and offered a real depth in understanding of the sales process and negotiating and how to build relationships. He's awesome.
I think Scott was a great speaker. Scott spoke to the value of listening, the value of meeting expectations, keeping expectations. The skills you learn here were not only valuable in business, but valuable in life in general. I think it's all applicable, and I think he's really good at what he does.
Really working with the different personalities. That was really my biggest takeaway, is just understanding what that looks like.
It was fantastic. I was so glad to spend time today with Scott and him explaining really, really well the art of negotiation and how to craft outcomes that everybody will be happy with.
So helpful, so helpful. It was nice to get that validation of, hey, I think I'm doing the right thing. Giving different options, different packages, and just how to respond. It kept me interested, friendly.
As I say to real estate agents, I say, what is your goal as a real estate agent? And I get a variety of different answers from them. But I say, here's the goal that I used when I sold real estate when I was 21 years old in 1987. So I was really young when I got my real estate license. And I said, my goal is to manage the anxiety between a purchase agreement and closing, because there's a lot of emotions that are flying through a real estate transaction during that time. My goal today is to inspire growth and change in your presence and have it continue and last in my absence.
Scott did a wonderful job. It was very informative, it was a great perspective, and very valuable. Being able to really understand how to best handle situations and making sure you stay true to the process.
This is my new favorite presentation on negotiation. He brought up so many points, I took so many notes, and that I deliver higher value and help a greater number of people. He is a person to know.
Scott is always cool. Scott is amazing. The most important tip that I gained from today, bring a future scenario back to the present, forming the possible consequences of not solving the problem.
Scott's one of the most content-rich speakers that I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of speakers, but anywhere Scott goes to speak, I'm there because he always says something that's really educational and compelling.
I think he's very wise, very practical. And so I learned a lot, and I'll remember some of the stories he told to illustrate the points. Appreciated that.
We're going to break it down into two parts. We're taking into the process of negotiations, and we're going to talk about working with people in negotiations. Those are the two ingredients when it comes to working with people. But know that some of your past experiences are carried forward when it comes to your negotiations. If you're in search of truth, don't necessarily be in search of truth, but recognize what's blocking your perception of truth. And it could be your own judgment, your own bias, and your own beliefs that are holding you back from experiencing and finding the truth in a negotiation.
Scott is an exceptional presenter. Focus on trigger words like help and the power behind those words and how they can impact your discussion or negotiation.
I like Scott for his DNA. Who doesn't like Scott? If you don't like Scott, you don't like air, right? There was a lot of bullet points in there. It's all great. It was a very linear approach to, how not to screw it up. Don't win at the expense of somebody else losing thing. That's part of my gig too. So love that. Love that Scott believes that. No zero-sum game.
I love the wisdom through the stories that come through with every point he's trying to make. You can tell he's been out there. He gives way more than he expects to get. I love always a win-win. He's very casual, open to questions. It was awesome. Very professional, from the heart. His intentions came through of really having a huge desire to make a difference in your work life, your overall life, and the skills he taught today can help do that. So I thought it was great.
So who goes first? We've always heard, never go first in negotiations. I'm not a real fan of that. I think somebody needs to go first. If two people have an approach of, I'm not going to go first, you end up sitting there staring at each other. I mean, what's the goal of that? Let's start the conversation. So here's Bob Wolf, who's a sports agent. He was a sports agent for Larry Bird. And he says, I have one thing that's non-negotiable. I demand that we meet your interests. The reason we want to meet your interests is that if we don't meet your interests, you won't meet mine, and I'm a very selfish guy. I want my interests met. What a great approach. So you start the negotiations, you ask the question, what do you want to get out of this? What outcome do you want to get from this? And knowing that that's kind of the starting point from their position, now you know what you may need to trade or what you can ask for to get what they want. It's a simple approach. It may take a little bit of work to get there. We need to make sure that their expectations are reasonable at the same time, but it's the beginning of a conversation of getting information.
Well, wonderful. You did a great job presenting the rules of negotiating and tips and tricks on how to get through the process.
Of course we wanted Scott to come speak because his skills in negotiation are something that we hadn't ever addressed before. And we wanted to share that expertise that he has with the entire group.
Super practical ideas that if you can internalize them, they are the key to really a solid negotiation and relationship building.
It's really a good thing for me to find out.
He kept checking in with the group to see how well everybody was responding to what he was saying. I thought he was very engaging.
It made a lot of sense to me. He was trying to accommodate all kinds of learners, so that really worked for me.
There's always a value to learning.
He's very fun, he's very personal, he's got great storytelling.
He's very comfortable in front of other people. You can tell that he's got the experience.
So here's the process. We're going to gather and acquire information first. Then we're going to define goals and objectives that we're going to work together on. Uncover the motives and intentions of both sides. Define and prioritize the value that we're going to be trading and building. And then confirming and fulfilling an agreement.
It was really valuable.
Setting our expectations really high and then exceeded them.
Really well versed. You can tell he's a professional presenting information and delivering things so people